Hi, Pascal. Before we start with the main one, what's the health of the club? Who's available and who isn't?
It's looking good. Almost everybody back into the game again. Yesterday, Pepe played his first starting 45 in the second team, so that's good. He's back part of the roster again. The only one that's new is Micha. It's not going to be available for this game.
He's not going to be available?
No.
Okay. As far as the last game, once you got a chance to re-see it, and what did you get out of that game now that you can hopefully fix for the game in Toronto?
It was a confirmation of a few things. I think if you look at the way we try to play and set up our attacking play is something that was at a decent level against Philly. But we were having trouble finding our sixes in the game against New England and didn't adapt accordingly. So if you look at the game itself, we were unable to get our attackers in good positions. And we also got the confirmation that the game, unfortunately, is being decided by moments that we switch off. In 5 minutes in total, we give away our game. A few minutes before we go into halftime, there's a moment we switch off. We unnecessarily take a corner kick. We don't look well enough. And then after the break, with our new ideas and Keaton Parks back on the pitch, we started quite well the first few moments, but then we give another corner away, and we didn't look good enough defending that one, and the game is decided. Going into the final part of the game, that's when you see when we speed our play up and we go with more bodies forward, with more conviction in our attacking play. That's when we get more into their box and control the game even more, but without getting really, really dangerous.
Well, you started the game basically with a new formation. Keaton wasn't, I guess, available for 90 minutes. What did you think of how the team responded playing in that new formation?
Well, it was a shape that we also used in preseason with Munsef closer to Alonso. But you see a few things. Alonso was less comfortable with Munsef so close. Maxi is by far the best attacking midfield player that we have available in our squad, even though Hannes did a really good job. But the attacking threat wasn't there. And again, like I said just now, the confirmation was there when Keats is not one of the sixes, that we are struggling in build-up phases. Expected more in that match from our new kid, Johnny Shore. But then again, we also have to understand where he's coming from and have the expectations in the right order.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Onto the Zoom, we'll go with Alex.
Hi, Pascal. This is Alex Only from New York. How's it going?
Hi, Alex.
After the loss to New England, what's been the overall response from the squad and training this week? Thanks.
Yeah, well, that's never the problem since I've been working with my boys from day one. The attitude in training has been fantastic. The mentality also coming back from a loss or a loss of points or winning a game, that is quite consistent. So all the guys came in again. Of course, we had our 24 hours after a good result or a bad result to reflect, and that's what we did. And we put the game to bed on Monday when we had the review, made some new focus points going into the rest of the week, and they've been doing that up until today. So hopefully we can reset and do better on Saturday in Toronto.
Michael?
Hey, Pascal, it's Mike Andrew from Blue City Radio.
Hi,
Thanks
Mike.
for the time.
Hi.
I have two questions. I'll start with the first one. You mentioned the health of the squad, and you mentioned Keaton Parks. Can you just clarify, relative to Keaton in New England, was there anything injury-related that kept him from starting the game?
Yeah, it was a close call to have Keaton even on the roster for that day. So we were very fortunate that he was able to finish the training session on Friday and be part of the roster because he hadn't been training for the rest of the week. So playing 45 was something that was a bit tight if you consider where he came from during that week. But we were very happy that he was available going into this match.
Christian?
And then if I can ask,
Go ahead, Michael. Go ahead.
just second question. You've played 25% of the games of the regular season so far. Just curious where you feel the team is, or I'm sorry, I'm just curious relative to the expectations you had taking over the team based on your conversations with David Lee, where the expectations are versus the reality of where you find yourself 25% of the way through the season.
Well, if you take our games, the 9 games that we've played so far in consideration, it's been inconsistent. That is one of the topics that we address from day one, so that we're trying to focus on becoming more consistent throughout the season. You know as well as I do that we have a young squad also, so inconsistency is also something that is part of that process, but we're trying to manage that as good as we can. We lost a few players coming from last season, and we had to reassess and make sure that we get the right players in for this season, or the windows that give us the opportunity to strengthen the squad. So that is something that we've been doing ongoing, and until then, this is the squad that I'm very happy with and working well with in order to get better performances.
Christian, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. Toronto's games have been very tight so far this season. Single goals, 0-0s. Could that make the first goal in this game on Saturday even more important than perhaps usual?
That depends. If you look at the recent results from Toronto, they've been quite steady. Insigne came back into the team. The team has been doing well. A few clean sheets, a 1 goal difference win. So they're in a good place at the moment. Coming back to the 1 goal, the first goal of the match, that's going to be an interesting one, because we have shown several phases throughout this season that we can cope with going a goal down and respond really well. We've also shown that we had matches where we were not able to get back from a goal down. So that's going to be an interesting one for both teams, I guess, because they have a squad that hasn't scored a lot of goals. We are able to score goals, but we're having, in the last few matches, some trouble finding the best moments in order to score our goals. So it will be a tight game, is my assumption. So who knows? The first goal can make the difference.
And you talked about the New England game there, those moments maybe that the team switched on. Is that where your talk of a bulletproof mindset becomes so essential in terms of achieving this team's goal? Yeah, very much so. If you go back to that game in New England, there is a moment just before the break where we were so disciplined without the ball, but we lose our discipline just one moment, and we concede an unnecessary corner, and we concede. Then we reset ourselves in halftime, and when you get out of the dressing room with your new ideas in order to get back into that game, that moment that we concede the second goal again from a set piece is a tough one to take. But if you want to become a bulletproof team, you need to be able to deal and handle these matters better than we did in this game. And lastly, you touched on him there, Insigne, Bernadeschi, they have some very pedigree talented players. As an Englishman, I'm familiar with the old adage of attack is the best form of defence. So in limiting them is the best way potentially to attack and go forward? Well, they have the quality, obviously. For us, it's something that we take inside our game plan, if you will, for this match. So we know we're dealing with quality players, but on the other hand, we have quality players as well. So it's just making sure that we are aware of their qualities and their contribution to the matches that they've played so far, and make sure that we're aware of that and then focus on ourselves as much as possible.